So if you're thinking about moving to Austin, then you might want to hit pause. I've lived here for over 17 years and I've helped many families relocate here. I love this city, but there's some real downsides you might want to consider before moving here. So in this video, I'm going to walk through the 7 things that you need to handle before moving here. And if you can't deal with these things, then this might not be the place for you. So let's start with the thing that surprises most people when they consider Austin. Austin is not the cheap Texas that you used to think about. Before, people from California came to here as a cost-effective alternative, and it's a little bit cheaper than California, but not by much. With 2.5 to 2% property taxes, that becomes a real thing. Most of the average homes in Austin are about 500,000, mid 500,000s. And if you're wanting to be central to Austin in neighborhoods like Rollingwood or Zilker or Barton Hills, then you're probably going to be looking closer to somewhere upwards of 2 million. Even the suburbs like Round Rock, Leander are starting to grow in price point, upwards of 500,000 for a really nice new construction home. It's a great place to live, but if you're coming from the Midwest, then it's going to start feeling expensive fast. If you're coming from San Francisco and Seattle, then it might feel affordable to you, but it's definitely changed from where it used to be. And that's something you really need to consider. Now, as a realtor in this area, I talk to people that are relocating here all the time. And if you're looking to understand the budget breakdown by neighborhood, then reach out. It's something that we do all the time, and I'd love to help you understand the financials before you come down here and realize that it's not what you expected. So if you don't handle the heat well, then that alone can be a deal breaker. We have consistent 100-degree temperature summers, and this isn't just a day or two here or there. It can last for weeks on end. And I moved down here in 2021. I didn't realize that it was the hottest summer on record, and it was almost 100 days over 100 degrees. And that is brutal, even for someone that's from Texas. This next one is where a lot of relocations go wrong, and it's that people don't consider the traffic in Austin compared to where they live. This city has grown immensely, and traffic really hasn't caught up to that. And so our streets and most of the major thoroughfares are pretty congested. Infrastructure has been growing, but it's still catching up, and it's really not there yet compared to some other major cities like San Antonio or Houston or Dallas that have, robust transportation systems with, dedicated loops around the city so that you can have congestion around without having to have traffic. Our major thoroughfares here are I-35, which is congested. The main joke here is if you can stay away from I-35, then try to. Some people have counters of how many years they've avoided having to get onto 35. 183 is congested as well, and Mopac is another north to south interstate, and it's pretty congested. Not to mention, all of them are going through major construction. So add to a pretty bleak situation, it gets a little bit worse. It's gonna get better, but we're definitely too large for our city, and we didn't really anticipate the growth as well as we should have. So when you consider a location, if you're not factoring in your commute, then something that can look like a 15-minute drive on a weekend could turn into a 45-minute one-way commute, and that can be pretty taxing on your lifestyle, on your budget. And so if you're considering a move down here, then reach out. We can help you find the locations that are best for you, for your lifestyle, and not have to be in the car for over an hour. I can tell you all the top spots that you can avoid and find back roads so that you can shorten your commute. And I love helping people with that. I've been in the city for a while, and so I know, all those alternatives versus having to take, the main thoroughfare. So reach out if that's something that's interesting to you. I'd be happy to help. So this next factor is one that, may be the reason why you're considering Austin, but it's something you really need to consider as you're planning your move and thinking about your strategy, and it really is regarding the job market here in Austin. We have a very strong and competitive job market here. With many of the top companies from Tesla to Oracle to Meta to Google having operations and large operations here, it's been a top area for people, especially those that are in tech. And so if you're coming down here, then you really need to know that there are jobs, but they're also pretty competitive. Salaries are growing and there's a lot more competition for an already, I would say, few amount of jobs in this area. With AI taking effect, I think that's going to cause even some greater changes. And not to scare you, but I think if you're moving down here and you don't have a job lined up, you may want to reconsider. There are a ton of companies and I can help you because I still have my connections in tech. Yeah, just know that it isn't someplace that you're gonna easily come and find a job. You might wanna start your search beforehand. And if you are considering a move in 2026, then reach out to me. Call, text, or email. I'd be happy to chat with you about the job market, some key players that you might not even be aware of that are down here. And we can plan out a strategy that fits your lifestyle and what you're looking for, and making sure that it's something that doesn't cause a lot of fear and stress as you make that move down here. So feel free to reach out. My number's right up there. Feel free to call, I'll pick up the phone, and I'd love to chat with you. So this next one pretty much catches everybody off guard. And I think this is number 5, but if you've never heard of cedar allergies, then you will when you come here. Allergies are a thing down here. We have, over 70% of our days are sunny and bright, and so things down here grow. And with that comes allergies. Cedar fever is something that hits around the early parts of the winter. That's when the trees are full of pollen, and with some of the cold temperatures and the big gusty winds that we get, and then it just really spreads all that cedar into the air. And it can feel like you're having flu-like symptoms, but most likely it is just a heavy case of cedar fever. The rule of thumb generally is that it takes about 7 years for you to build up an allergic reaction to a lot of those allergies, so it might not hit immediately, but it's something you need to be aware of. We have allergies from cedar to hay pollens to mold, elm, so whatever you're probably allergic to, we probably unfortunately have down here. And now it's manageable, and I have some great recommendations for allergists if you need them. But it's just something you need to consider when moving down here, because it can take an effect, especially if you are already allergic to things. Then you might want to just have a plan before you come down here. So this next one is something that's unique. Austin has a very different and diverse culture. And so yes, it's tech and it's outdoorsy and it's keep Austin weird and it's a music lifestyle and it's young and it's hip and trendy and it's all those things, but it's not your conservative Texas. It really is different in a lot of ways compared to the rest of Texas. It's a blue dot in a red state. It also is very, very hilly compared to the rest of Texas, which is pretty generally flat. We have a lot of great water resources down here, and so it's pretty green most of the year, which is really nice. But it isn't that conservative Texas, and so if you're looking for something that's rather chill and calm, and you're not used to big festivals like South by Southwest and ACL that come throughout the year, then this place might not be for you. Now, you can go out to one of the suburbs and it's gonna feel more like traditional Texas, but Austin is different from the rest of the state. And I love that about this place, but it's just something you need to be aware of, that it's not your traditional conservative Texas as before. So this might be one of the most important points of the entire video. If you're thinking that all of Austin is the same, then it's not. Each of the areas is very different from each other. So East Austin has a very different vibe than Westlake, and Round Rock is very different than Dripping Springs. East, West, North, and South Austin are very different demographics and vibes. This is where it's really critical, I think, to work with somebody that knows this place and can give you each of those nuances based on what your personality and style is. And that can really, really make a difference. So if you're interested in knowing the different personalities of the Austin culture, then reach out to me and we can share that with you. But Austin is not cookie cutter The different locations, I think, are unique, and that's what makes Austin so cool. That might be something you want to consider before you move down, and it's a really important one. So if you made it through those 7 items and it doesn't scare you away, then Austin might be your jam. It might be that perfect place like it is for me and my family, and we love it down here. So I think it's important to know those things so that you can plan a strategy for them and they don't catch you off guard. But if those things don't scare you off, then it's an amazing place to live. If you're considering a move down here, then we'd love to chat. I'm a realtor here, and we have a team of realtors that would love to be able to have a conversation with you and begin planning kind of the step-by-step strategy of what it looks like to move down here and what's that best place for you. It's a great town. It's continually changing. If you want to check out my next video, I'll walk through some of the top neighborhoods in the city that I love, and that could be a good one to really dig into and see if this is not just a place for you, but what is the right neighborhood for you. But come check it out, come reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation.